Ladies and gentlemen, in case you couldn't tell, I am currently sick. The good news is my voice is even sexier than usual, so you're welcome. Alright, today we're talking about the best B-sides of 2024. You know we love our B-sides on this channel. So this was, without exaggeration, the hardest list I've ever had to curate. I had a really tough time just trying to narrow it down and rank these songs because all of them either have great production, a great chorus, or both. So the fact that I discovered more hidden gems this year turned out to be both a blessing and a curse. This list literally has honorable mentions for the honorable mentions, which I've put in the description. But without further ado, here are the honorable mentions. Triple S 24, Dreamcatcher 2 Rings, TN Adrenaline, On and Off Aphrodite, To Us BFF, NMIX Break the Wall, EPEX Breathe in Love, To Us, Made in Tatarita, Highlight Feel Your Love, QWER, Ferris Wheel, The Wind, Happy B-Day, Unite, How We Do, Baby Monster, Love in My Heart, Racine, Lucky You, Rise, One Kiss, One We, A Piece of You, All Hours, Racer, and Super Junior D&E, Runaway. So with this top 50, I decided to do things differently. I will try to get through these pretty quickly, playing a short snippet followed by some brief comments. Live My Life's pop rock style was a departure from aespa's usual fare, but it's one of their few songs this year with an actual chorus. EPEX had a few solid B-sides as well, and 1997 takes the cake for its glistening blend of guitar and synth. Ouroboros by Dragon Pony, a boisterous and belligerent grunge rock track from this somewhat obscure band. This is boy group noise music meets hip-hop, and the blend works surprisingly well. As sure as the sun rises, 80s will continue to drop 2 albums a year, and I won't be particularly fond of either of the title tracks, but there's always at least one B-side that I like. This year, that song happens to be Selfish Waltz. It recalls past retro glories, and while it's certainly not as good as Take Me Home or even Silver Light from 2023, it's alright. TAN's Love is an Open Door righteously encapsulates the group's appeal with its brooding bassline and suave crooning. This track mainly caught my attention because the melody is decidedly old school. It sounds like it was ripped straight from their discography circa 2015 to 2017. The rest of the song is quite, well, bubbly. Breezy is an adjective commonly used on this channel, but this song is the textbook definition of the word, the epitome, the paragon of a pleasantly brisk ride. I almost never heard this because their self-titled debut was so darn boring, but the girls did put together this fashionable synth-pop track that I think is a much more compelling display of their charms. It was pretty gratifying to hear a straightforward house track from 17, seeing as it's the only thing I enjoyed from them in 2024. This B-side was the year's most effective channeling of Enhypen's dark, vampiric complex. The beat hits like a ton of bricks. Key has mastered the debonair club sound, and Overthink was the most enchanting item from his alluring pleasure shop. Vannis' circuit is unapologetically aggressive, delivered with the panache characteristic of K-pop's second generation. This song is interesting because it's basically perfect. It's melodic to a fault and impeccably streamlined, limited only by its mellow temperament. To Us had several great title tracks in 2024 and quite a few good B-sides to go with them. This was the best and catchiest of the bunch. They have the best vocals in 4th gen, and this track proves it, idiosyncratic as it may be. Sorn's Heartstorm is technically a title track because it bears the name of the EP, and the argument could be made that this isn't K-pop at all, but we don't need to get into that. The former CLC member has been steadily honing her global pop skill set for the past few years, and this propulsive retro track lays it bare convincingly. At this point, we know exactly what we're gonna get from Twice, and New New is the strongest B-side on their Airtight mini album from February. Personally, I'm a big fan of Drift Funk. Enhypen gave it a whirl on the aforementioned Teeth, and Zykas became an unlikely conduit on Supercalifragilistic. Fortunately, their unrelentingly brash spirit made them just the team for the job. Hands down, one of the best produced tracks of the year. In fact, I'll even say that it's the second best behind aespa's Supernova. Gravity have stepped up to become Starship's flagship boy group in the absence of Monster X. Mister was their most exciting ride in 2024. It is a crunchy and exhilarating workout. Sad endings, dramatic and angsty vibes stand in stark contrast to much of the bright melodies on Forever. But Day 6 carry the track with emotive performances and get it over the line with a surging multi-part chorus. Repetitive, sure, but does it slap? Absolutely. Very triple S coded, we can always count on them to bring a quirky vision. That chorus is a blast. Friendship takes the Win's signature youthful optimism and cranks up the energy level, fusing multiple rollicking segments into one effusive package. Mashing an edgy rock instrumental with dark electronics, Zyka's Bittersweet is probably the best Halloween-themed song this year, despite being released at the start of September. That's what I'm talking about. Money on My Mind would make a fantastic theme song for a racing game, complete with not one but two Freebird-style guitar solos. &1's Crazy Stupid Fun is 100% as advertised. Some may balk at the sound of that beat drop, but the cheesiness of 2010's EDM will always have a special place in my heart. If there was a Beat Drop of the Year award, this would win it handily. It's genuinely one of the sickest things I've heard in my life. The beat is so sick, it requires urgent medical attention. Another B-side that's technically a title track, Fantasy Boys and Make Sunshine does exactly what it says, unearthing a beam of blinding positivity from a time capsule buried 10 years ago. Zykas have clearly proven themselves worthy, and this was their strongest effort of 2024. The second verse definitely had me rolling my eyes, and also bashing my head against the wall. But Break a Leg triumphs with the sheer catchiness of the chorus and the utter thrill of the first minute and a half. Without those nagging shifts in momentum, this would have been an easy top 10 placement, but they just had to bloody ruin it. I mean literally, the line right before this was "Never slow down, never stop, ooh yeah." Talk about rubbing it in your face. One of their most hummable tracks to date. The hooks aren't overly complicated, but they easily work their way under your skin. There's just one problem. You guessed it. Look, if I never have to hear one of these breakdowns again, I'll be content with life. It's just so unwise and imprudent. If I were in charge, I'd make this a crime, and it would be punishable by death. This is like the B-side counterpart to Lee Sung-yoon's Waterfall. Certainly not suitable for those with short attention spans. Before We Die doesn't reach its riveting drop chorus until almost 2 minutes into the song. The sprawling EDM frame might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I deeply admire Woo Sung's expressive performance and the track's trance-like quality. On Extraordinary Hero's most outstanding project this year, the guys smartly injected drum and bass and electronics into their usual rock palette, and topped it all off with a chorus that travels at the speed of light. NCT brought the heat back with this exceptionally funky dance track, instilling the groove with that awesome synth intro. The hooks are simple but sticky, something that we're used to getting from NCT, but they're far more fruitful when paired with a jolt of disco intensity. It was right for EPEX to promote this track, cause it's a banger. Only bangers from this point on. It's been 2 years since SF9 had a summer comeback, which seems to be the pattern. They actually have a pretty solid record of upbeat jams for the season, and My Fantasia continues that run with its dangerously addictive rhythm. So many bangers. I said the same thing last year. Willem Entertainment is basically running on fumes, but luckily it's still quality over quantity for them. Even though I don't drink, Drippin's Black Mirror sounds like how I imagine a fine wine would taste. It's driven home by the luxurious production, which manages to vary the dynamics without sucking the life out of the song. This is a quintessential pop rock hype track, harnessing the guy's infectious energy to facilitate a cathartic coast down the highway. And also, thank goodness gracious there's no second verse breakdown. See, it really isn't that difficult, K-pop producers. The Wind had plenty of excellent B-sides this year, and the inscrutably titled I Don't Thing was one of their most exuberant. The song's opening seconds tell you all you need to know about this group, while the punchy guitar adds a ton of heft. Back to back the Wind picks, they're getting too good at this. So much so that GFriend had to come out of retirement. You're familiar with the drill at this point. Sweet, sentimental, and hyper-melodic pop is where it's at. I suspect and hope they will have a strong presence on these lists for years to come. At number 10 we have Candy Hashtag, or Candy Sharp, however you want to call it. Wait, Candy Sharp. Candy Shop. This B-side blows the ultra-middling good girl out of the water. I'm honestly baffled they didn't promote this track instead, what with the ongoing trend of self-titled debuts and the fact that it's an amazing song, wrapping a splendid second-gen inspired instrumental around incredibly potent hooks. There's no bridge, which is a shame, but it does not miss a beat throughout the immensely taut 2 minute and 23 second runtime. Quite similar to the previous entry, Classy's Love Game is another old school girl group record, relentlessly driven and performed with flair. Another song that I came close to never hearing. I clicked on it out of pure curiosity and was very pleasantly surprised. Really makes me wonder how many good B-sides I might have missed because of a mediocre lead single. If this had been the title track, it most definitely would have made the top 50 list as well. There's no slowdown in the second verse. Every time a song doesn't fall victim to this, I see it as deserving of praise, and it does not falter at any point thereafter, which is highly commendable. This one is all about nostalgia. It evokes a very particular image of a nocturnal synth-pop dreamscape. It may not be the most flamboyant song on this list, but sometimes all you need is a perfectly smooth melody and warm vocal inflections to accompany you as you drift off into the night. At its core, So Let's Go See the Stars is an uncomplicated yet heartfelt expression of love. Without you, late nights and sunsets don't mean a thing. I alluded to this track in my Mama review video, and I figured an OST offering would be best suited for this list. Beautiful was produced by the brilliant KZ, who was also responsible for the Wind's best output in 2024. Seungkyu and Woohyun of course form one of the best vocal duos in all of K-pop. They instill this song with a sense of grit and determination, coupled with a spectacular throwback instrumental. I pray they will harness some of this intensity for their comeback in March. Taemin really locked in on this record. It's reminiscent of another one of his B-sides from 2016, Guess Who, with its straight up lethal groove. Crush capitalizes on the sinuous and serpentine performance style that Taemin has all but trademarked at this point. The hook is pretty bare bones, but it's elevated significantly by the arrangement and delivery. Speaking of addictive tracks, this one has definitely been laced with something. One of the most subtly catchy songs of the year, certainly one of the catchiest songs TXT have made. It was memorable on first listen. Sure, it doesn't have the explosive character that I often clamor for, but there's quality in all aspects, from the beep boopy production to the somewhat repetitive but oh so sticky hooks. With so many K-pop songs these days being intent on giving us vibes, the least they can do is bring some personality to the table. And I'll See You There Tomorrow does that in spades. Down on your luck? Feeling hopeless perhaps? Are you just having a plain old bad day? Well, Day 6 is here to quell your woes with this sunny mood booster, although it's not guaranteed that you won't cry after listening to it. Happy struck a chord with the general public for good reason, thanks to its uplifting message conveyed with unwavering optimism, bringing buoyancy by the boatload. When life just feels like a series of never-ending trials and tribulations, this track is a reminder that it's okay to pursue contentment. Day 6 is for the people, man, I'm telling you. Alright, at number 3, I bet none of you will be able to guess what this is. But my pick for bronze is Winter's Spark from the Sync Parallel Line special digital single. I know Karina's Up got all the attention, but this was far and away my favorite solo song. From its opening note, you know this is going to be an ethereal experience. In an era where so many songs just try to rush to the finish line, I can easily appreciate a track that takes its time to welcome you into the world, that gradually builds up tension and provides a satisfying payoff. The drop, which reminds me of Galantis' Runaway, happens a minute and a half into the song. I guess the chorus could have gone even huger, but I really can't complain about what we got. And I'm very glad they gave her this. She's absolutely perfect for it. Number 2 is Day 6 once again. Oh, you thought we were done? Nuh-uh. The Power of Love erupted in the rankings towards the end of the year for a meteoric come-from-behind victory. This is the cream of the crop on a mini-album that is already filled with highlights. As mentioned above, their rock B-sides are great, but when they go retro, it's game over. With positivity coursing through each and every note, The Power of Love harkens back to 2018's Days Gone By, which I think is a flawless song, by the way. This may end up being one as well. There is truly nothing I dislike about it. I can't find any faults, and thus it earns its placement here on account of the impeccable execution. Number 1, this is actually my favorite song of the year, NMIXX, Love is Lonely. Where do I begin? This song is pretty much perfect. It's unspeakably beautiful, the melody is flawless, the performances are flawless, and the raw sentimentality just tugs at your heartstrings, recalling a track like Stacey's Young Love from 2022. It's the most unadulterated showcase of NMIXX's vocals yet. It's certainly not an easy song to sing, but all of the girls killed it, and their delivery just touches your soul. There's this lingering sadness behind their voices that conjures up fanciful ideas of hopeless romanticism. It's songs like these that make me grateful to be alive at a time when I get to hear it. Very dramatic commentary, I know, but I had to give it the number 1 spot. Congratulations, NMIXX. Okay, overall, this whole lineup isn't as strong as 2023's or 2022's. I do like a lot of these songs. They all range from good to great, but only a few are truly excellent. Anyways, that will do it for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel for more great content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.